20 years, the racing roar has echoed off the buildings of Long Beach, California. First, the Formula 5000 ripped through a shabby downtown. The city grew, and so did the race. In '77, Mario Andretti celebrated a Formula One win. Now, 3 IndyCar wins later here, Mario faces his last pass down Shoreline Drive. In 1986, son Michael kept the Andretti name alive with his first IndyCar win. Passing years reveal a beautiful skyline, and Al Unser Jr. challenging the Andrettis. Al became the king of the beach for the next 4 years. 2 years ago, Danny Sullivan brought his teammate Little Al's win streak to a screeching halt. Last year, Penske driver Paul Tracy scored his first IndyCar win. Today, Tracy has the pole. The run through the streets is about to begin. It's round number 3 of the PPG IndyCar World Series, the Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach. Hello and welcome. I'm Paul Page with the beautiful Queen Mary as a backdrop. We're ready to go racing. And here at Long Beach, the real trick is the fact that the entire track is rimmed with concrete walls. One mistake, and it'll snatch you right out of the lead of the race in no time flat. It's a very tactical race here as well. We have a great afternoon in store for you. Some surprises too on the grid, so let's take a look at the starting field. On the pole, it's Paul Tracy, the defending champion here at Long Beach. Alongside Al Unser Jr., who won 4 in a row here from '88 to '91. In row 2, Emerson Fittipaldi, the winner last week at Phoenix. Alongside is Nigel Mansell, the 3rd place finisher last week at Phoenix. In row 3, it's Robbie Gordon, who ran out of fuel while leading at Phoenix. In row number 3 outside is Mario Andretti, a 3-time IndyCar winner here. And row 4, Raul Boesel to the inside. He has 3 top 10 finishes here at Long Beach. And Mauricio Gugelmin, the highest qualifying Reynard chassis and the fastest rookie in this race. In row 5, it's Michael Andretti, the '86 winner here. And Stefan Johansson, whose car is an unknown after crashing in qualifying. In row 6, Bobby Rahal and Teo Fabi. In the 7th row, Marco Greco and Jacques Villeneuve. In row 8, Scott Goodyear, Arie Luyendyk. The 9th row, Dominic Dobson and Mark Smith. The 10th row, Adrian Fernandez and Alessandro Zampedri. In the 11th row, it's Scott Sharp and Willie T. Ribbs. The 12th row, Jimmy Vasser and Mike Groff. Row 13, Davy Jones and Robbie Buell. In row 14, Frank Freon and Claude Bourbonnais. Row 15, Robbie Groff and Buddy Lazier. And those that came here but did not qualify, Mashushta, Kudrev, and Johnny Unser. The cars are on the track, and we're ready to go racing. This is Paul Page with Sam Posey and Bobby Unser in the booth. Jack Arute and Gary Gerald are giving us coverage from trackside. This track here at Long Beach is a magnificent circuit, a temporary 1.59 miles around, 8 turns, 2 very long and very fast straightaways. Here today, it is Paul Tracy that is the defending champion. He is also the holder of the race record. We expect pit stops for fuel as early as 18 laps, as late as 42. So now, they move around the circuit, ready to move into formation. 1 lap to go. They have already begun their pace lap, the 2 parade laps complete here at Long Beach. We ride with Scott Goodyear, looking forward from his car. All these cars will move into their familiar rows of 2 after they come off of the final hairpin turn. On board here, the Reynard of Michael Andretti. Scott Sharp is reported stalled on the race course. We'll keep track of that story too. Now on Seaside, the backside, the 2nd long straight, as you ride with the Robbie Gordon car. There's Scott as they're trying to get him started. The rest of the field is all set to go. And apparently what they'll do is get him started, and if he's lucky, he'll be able to start from the pits and follow the field. That should not be too much of a penalty. Looking off the front of Bobby Rahal's Honda-powered car. Our race analysis for today. Again, fuel stops as early as 18, as late as 42, depending on the yellows. 2 stops if you want to do the race right. And look at that front of the field. 3 Penske cars, then Nigel Mansell. They make the last pass that turns them now back toward the hairpin, and this right-hander into the hairpin. They should align here. This first corner is going to be very crowded. The rest of the field starts to come off. Now the crowd begins to roar. They give it to Green. They give it to Green. It surprises me, but they give it to Green. The rest of the field struggling off of that hairpin turn as they battle down into the corner. Penske cars maintain their position, but they come three abreast. Everybody's through the first two corners safely.
Well, that had to be one of the worst starts I think I've ever seen IndyCar racing. Flagman should have brought them around another time. They weren't lined up at all.
Looks like only the Penske cars were aligned. It's now Tracy Alonso Jr., Emerson Fittipaldi. Nigel Mansell pursues from fourth place.
In qualifying, the three Penske cars qualified within a tenth of a second of each other. It explains why they're running so close right now.
Paul Tracy still running at the front of the field. Will he lead the first lap? Will he win another race here? He scored his first IndyCar victory at this track. Paul Tracy, the number 3 Penske car. Al Unser Jr., the 31 car with a black rollover bar. And, of course, there is Fittipaldi, the number 2 car, black number 2.
Penske scored his first win ever here last year as a team, having been shut out through all the Andretti and Unser years. Now he's come back with a vengeance with a car that is really handling beautifully here.
Well, you know, Sam and Paul, there's one thing safe to assume, and that Penske has told his drivers, don't wreck into each other. Race, but save the really hard racing till right to the end of the race.
This is the fight for fourth place as Robbie Gordon is closing on Nigel Mansell.
The interesting thing is to see Mansell, who had the pole here last year, of course, in eclipse this year. Fourth fastest only in qualifying, not a threat at least at this point in the race.
Mario Andretti closing on this battle as well. He is car number 6, just behind Robbie Gordon.
You know, Robbie Gordon has really set his sights on emulating Nigel Mansell. As Gordon matured in racing, it was Mansell who was achieving everything last year. So this means a lot for him to have Mansell in his sights right now.
On board with Robbie Gordon now. 2 laps are complete as they flash over the start-finish line. Here's through turn 1 and 2. And down, swing far to the left, another right-hander.
They don't do much shifting here. They come up from second gear to third to fourth. They hit fifth as they accelerate through these very fast sweepers out onto the back stretch.
A very fast back straightaway right here, down into turn. We're another good place to pass.
We'll keep track of this car, Bobby Rahal. The corner workers are reporting that there's a fire in the left rear of his car. Now there's more than a fire. At least there's a lot of smoke.
That's that Honda engine car, and it is in trouble now.
Well, it's either going to be an engine or it's going to be some fiberglass, or not fiberglass, but carbon fiber. Most likely he's got engine problems. We can almost tell by how quick he pulls off.
Let's look under there. There is some fire very definitely under that car as Rahal heads into the pits.
That's the body work that's burning up underneath there.
This is a team which is having
Jack Arut's right there as Bobby Rahal comes rolling down the pits now, and they will be ready with the fire equipment. It's probably not a serious situation, but certainly has everybody concerned. Jack?
Well, Paul, Bobby Rahal brings his car in, and it is on fire in the left rear area. They're taking off the column engine. But this is a tough day for Bobby Rahal because during the last practice session, he started this race realizing that he had a questionable gearbox. He did not go to the backup car, and it's an early DNF for Bobby Rahal and the new Honda engine here at Long Beach.
Back on the circuit, you ride with number 6, Michael Andretti there for a moment. There he is.
Michael, after his extremely promising start in that new Reynard chassis in Surfers Paradise, Australia, has had trouble at Phoenix a week ago and was not exceptionally fast in qualifying here either.
That's Gugelmin just ahead of him. Behind him is Johansson.
On board with Michael again, and I just want to make a note on this car. It hasn't looked good. I've been down the turns watching it all weekend. They have not got the car balanced. The shock absorbers look like they don't fit the racetrack well. Definitely are having trouble the Reynard cars here at Long Beach.
Is there a solution to their problems, Bobby?
Yes, it is, and it's probably just a discovery thing, Paul. It's just merely matching the track. We knew they were good in Australia. They're just not working good here.
He's practiced very well at Indianapolis, so that is promising as we look ahead.
Michael Andretti has struggled with this car throughout the weekend. as Scott Sharp goes back into the race and is in the action. Gary Gerald, you have an update on the work they've been doing on this car?
Well, indeed, Paul. You know, he won on the streets of Australia, but it's been a totally frustrating weekend here for this team. He says the problem has been getting grip to the rear of the car. I spoke with him just before he got in the cockpit before the start of this race, and he said it wasn't any better this morning. He qualified in the 9th spot, but he ran only 15th fast in the warm-ups. It's a very frustrated Michael Andretti, who won on the streets of Australia, not doing so well on the streets of Long Beach.
Gary, Bobby and I watched Michael practicing the other day right from the edge of the track. He gets an awful lot of wheel spin. He drives the wheels off the car as the crowd roaring approval when he comes by, but just no speed.
Sammy said that that's one of the keys. He said you could hustle the car through the chicanes at Australia, but here, every time you try to put that power down, it just wants to get away from you, and you can't hustle the car. And he says it seems like the harder you try, the slower you get.
Most of that is caused by different turns at Long Beach as opposed to Australia. Australia almost has straightaways and 90-degree turns. Here, as you can see going around Long Beach, turns of different angles all over the place.
The weather here in Southern California is overcast. Temperatures in the mid-70s. No threat of rain at all, but it looks like it's going to be a super day for racing and just right air for carburation.
The car right in front of Michael Gugelman there, Mauricio Gugelman. You see there the word Hollywood on the side of the car. That is Brazil's #1 cigarette company, and it explains that this is such an international series that is a sponsor here.
Now with Bobby Rahal out of the race, he's joined Jack Arute.
Well, Bobby, you were concerned about the gearboxes. That would put you out?
Well, it looks like an oil line broke. It's too bad. The car, we made a change in morning session, and it really ran well, and I was looking forward to the race. And, even with the oil leak in the first lap or two, I was, this car was super in the corners. I was looking forward to it. It's just a damn shame.
And he needed a boost here, Paul, because he was getting ready to go to Indianapolis for the 500. He didn't race in that race last year.
Well, we hope Bobby Rahal doesn't have a repeat of last year, as he did not make it into the Indy 500-mile race. Watching Rahal Boisel now, he runs in 6th place. So at the Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach, it's Paul Tracy in front, being chased by Al Unser Jr. and Emerson Fittipaldi. Watching now as we keep an eye on Rahal Boisel. I'm Paul Page with Sam Posey, Bobby Unser, Jack Arute, and Gary Gerald. We are at the Toyota Grand Prix of Long Beach. We are on the 8th lap of the race. Paul Tracy, who was the pole sitter with a new track record, jumped to the lead, followed by his Penske teammates Al Unser Jr. and Emerson Fittipaldi. Nigel Mansell sits in 4th, Robbie Gordon in 5th. They have not changed in the top positions on this track as you look not only at the positions, but also their time behind the leader of the race. We keep track of the 8th place car now, the 88 machine of Mauricio Gugelman, who is a rookie on this track and the highest qualifying Renard.
But he's a Grand Prix veteran of 74 Grand Prix races. We see Al Unser Jr. in car number 31. Al has a birthday coming up in just a couple of days. He is 31 now, same as his car number. He'll soon be 32.
Now he's getting to be an old man already, isn't he, Sam?
Speak for yourself, Bob.
Al Unser Jr., 2nd place. Man who has infused, it seems, a new spirit into this team. Well, matter of fact, they say that Fittipaldi really likes his presence.
Well, in a sense, Al gave his 20s to the Rick Gallis team, and I think he'll give the decade of his 30s to the Penske team. And he is a man who can bring attitude to a team, and that's very important. They say, how much does a driver really mean in a team? Is he just the guy that stands on the accelerator? No, he inspires the whole team.
That's right. I was just down talking to Jerry Breon, the right rear man and very important man on that team, does all the fabrication work on that car. He said the same thing. He said they are so happy with little Al because he brought a lot of motivation and enthusiasm to that team. And that's what a team is all about. Teams are really teams, not individuals.
No change at the top of the order. Paul Tracy runs alone. You're looking at the key battle on the race course. It's a fight for second between Fittipaldi and Little Al.
Although, speaking of teams, the Penske team runs one car against another against another. In other words, they have an intramural rivalry there. Each team run in the pits by a different tactician. So this is a real race for points that we're watching, not just a demonstration by the Penske team.
So Paul Tracy runs alone.